Call the meeting to order of the Thursday, October 18th, 2018 Board of Education regular meeting for the Lincon-Way Community High School District 210. Please.
Lulo.
Here.
Mr. Janik.
Here.
Mr. Coster.
Here.
Mr. Kirby.
Here. First on our agenda tonight are our student council presidents, so we'll start with Hannah, since she was here first.
Hello everyone. Lincon-Way Central has had a great first quarter. Some of our fall sports have recently ended after an amazing season. Our varsity girls golf team took many titles this year and finished in 3rd place at IHSA state finals. Senior Bree Golden finished in 2nd place at state and Grace Curran took 7th. Sophomore Sean Curran also represented the boys golf team at state and finished in 2nd place. Our varsity boys cross country and varsity girls tennis were both SWSC conference champions. We couldn't be more proud of our fall teams for ending their season strong. As for student council, we've been preparing for Halloween night, which will take place on October 29th. At this event, we invite kids up to age 11 to come to Central and participate in indoor trick-or-treating and a fun fair. Sports and clubs around the building sponsor a doorway to pass out candy to the kids, making it a fun event for the whole community and a great community service event for our students. After Halloween night, we will be holding our freshman elections on November 6th and are looking forward to the Student Council SWSC conference on November 14th. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Appreciate that very much. Next, I ask Maddie.
Hello, here at Lincon-Way East, we had a very successful first quarter. Student Council hosted the homecoming dance on September 29th, and we had nearly 2,000 students in attendance. The student body elected Dylan Hansen as our homecoming king and Emma Mize as the queen. And overall, homecoming week went very smoothly, and everything went as planned. Coming up for Student Council, we're planning to attend the SWSC Leadership Conference. And this is a great opportunity for all the student councils to meet and bounce ideas off of each other to make your student council better. And the next event for student council is going to be parent-teacher conferences, where all the students will help the teachers stay on task during all of their conferences. For our athletics, we rounded out the fall season very strongly. The girls golf team sent Kaylee White to the state tournament, and the varsity girls tennis team sent a doubles pair to the state tournament. The varsity boys soccer team defeated Oak Lawn 6-1, advancing to the regional final, and our football team remains 8-0 and will play their last game of the regular season this week at home versus Bolingbrook. Tonight, Lincon-Way East is hosting best-selling author Julie Lincott-Haynes, and she'll be giving a presentation based off her book, How to Raise an Adult, along with doing a book signing. And October 25th and 27th, the Lincon-Way East Theater Company is putting on the play I Never Saw Another Butterfly. The story is based on a young Jewish girl along with her family and her experiences during the World War II concentration camps. And lastly, FBLA is hosting their annual blood drive Monday, November 5th, where students will be rewarded community service hours for their donation to people in need, as the organization provides blood to over 70 hospitals, including Silver Cross.
Thank you. A lot of good stuff. Thanks, Maddie. And then finally, Kaylee.
Good evening. Over the last month, we hosted our annual homecoming. We had over 1,600 students in attendance, and our theme was No Place Like Homecoming, which was Wizards of Oz. For homecoming, our week on Monday, we had 93 teams with 10 to 12 students for Homecoming Olympics participate, with over 100 staff members either compete, support, or help out. Then on Wednesday, our PPS presented Road to Reality to all our sophomore students. On Friday, we had our annual pep assembly, which was our 10th pep assembly since we have opened. And then we also had our football game against Thornton, which was a conference win. Over the last weekend, we hosted the Lincon-Way Marching Invitational, as well as the Lincon-Way West Girls Varsity Cross Country team took the SWSC conference title. And then this week, our PPS department is holding the College Changes Everything Week. With this, during our lunch period, PPS has various activities that help students to become more aware about what college is about and help them decide. Also, we've also had other weeks like this, like Start with Hello, to get students more comfortable with each other and not be so operate at lunch. Also, we've had Decade of Orange, where we have celebrated our 10 years of West being open and all the memories that we have shared throughout it. Then also, tonight we start the opening of our fall play, The Outsiders, as well as Saturday night will be also our opening night. Thank you.
Thank you. A lot of good stuff at all three campuses. Thank you very much for presenting this evening. Next on our agenda is public comments. A couple people signed up. Kathy Matthews, please.
Hi, I'm Kathy Matthews. I live in Frankfurt. I wanted to preface my remarks by telling you how much I know this costs your family. When I was in elementary school, my dad was president of the school board. When I was in high school, my dad was president of the school board. When I came back from college, my dad was president of the village. So I'm aware of how much time you sacrifice. And I also have a unique perspective on how your children might feel about your being in this position. I also wanted to thank you for the wonderful education that my youngest daughter got at Lincon-Way East. She really loved it. She had a great time. She went to University of Illinois so prepared. Unfortunately, she also got a love of travel. She traveled to 3 different places, and she's now teaching in the Sudan. So that's one thing maybe you guys can not let her travel so much. The reason I'm here tonight is because I know that you'll be considering a representative to send to the high school, the IHSA meeting for whether or not your teachers should be armed. I was a teacher for 35 years in Illinois public schools and 10 years in the junior colleges. I'm old enough to remember when Lori Dan burst into the classroom in Wilmette and killed Nikki Corwin. The teacher in charge of that classroom was not rehired, Amy Moses, because they thought it would be such a bad experience for the children to see her again. And she didn't kill that child. She was protecting her classroom. I don't think that our district wants to be remembered for having the first teacher who would accidentally kill a child. We're willing to give up our lives for the children of this district. Every teacher I know would have that courage under fire. But to arm them would be just against everything that schools should be. If I could, I would get down on my knees and beg you to not arm the teachers. But I'm afraid that one of you would have to come and help me out, so I'm not going to do that tonight. So I just want to thank you, and I just plead with you to know that your teachers are fabulous. They do everything, but they shouldn't have guns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. The next person signed up is Jim Moran.
Hello there. I echo the previous speaker's thoughts, so I thank your board members for the time that you give and everything that you do here, and I'm hoping by me coming up here, being board members, that you'll hear me out on what I got to say, consider it. It's going to take me a while to get all my thoughts out. I'm not a public speaker. And I also going to echo that I would not want my teachers armed either. There's no place for teachers to be doing what the previous speaker said. So with that, I just want to say that I'm on board with and against arming teachers. So we'll segue into safety. There's a huge safety problem here at this school, and it's hit to the point for me that a boiling point when I drop my kids off. I guess I'll get to a point and try and spill it out. When we come in the walkway at the penny door, there's no reason for that to be a white line for people to walk there. So for instance, I could get back, I could take a video of all the things that go on here and, the unsafe habits. I was an industrial construction worker for over 30 years. We have safety meetings all the time, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with the safety pyramid. Safety pyramid shows certain things that would be, where near misses. Okay, so the bottom of the safety period is near misses. The middle of the safety period would become somebody getting hit by a car or a traffic accident with a car. The top of the safety period is a fatality. And if you're not going to address these issues soon, mark my words, you're going to have a fatality here. I hate to see it, but I'm going to give you a few examples of what I've seen. I've also went to the village in New Lenox on May 9th of 2016. I pretty much begged them to put lights on Route 30. When you go down the road east of here to Wolf Road, where there's a CVS, a Speedway gas station, a bank, it's lit up like you wouldn't believe. There's no kids crossing to do anything, but it's all lit up. So which brings me to the point, we got a school right here. They did all this layout for Route 30, but nobody had the brains to put lights up here in front of the school. Last year, I attended the Knights football game on a Friday night, raining hard. I pulled out because I was a drop-off person, and I went to the right. As I was exiting to the right, a family, a man and his kids, were coming from parking in Gatos, 4 lanes of traffic doing 45 to 50 miles an hour. The man yelled to his son to stop, but he got ahead of him to run across into the thing. You couldn't see this child because he was wearing all black. And the pouring rain, everybody's got to agree with me out here, it's dark. There's no reason for this to be dark. So I asked I hope he gets voted out, Hastings, I asked him to do something about it. He said he was going to do something to get back to me. He never got back to me. I tried getting through his office. They blew me off as my phone calls were made to his office, so I'm done with him. I've gone to the village. One of the trustees gave me some of the trustees were good. Butterfield gave me the worst time, like he didn't even live in this neighborhood. So there's so many issues that are going to get somebody hurt. Number one, there should be an only lane from Wolf Road heading south on Schoolhouse. When cars are parked with their legs turned and somebody's coming in, and these kids are coming across Route 30, when you have your wheels turned in that direction, if somebody rear-ends you, they're going to send you into a kid. I could go videotape every day, or if you're the president, Mr. Tingley, if you wanted to go out there and look at what I'm saying, I guarantee you tomorrow morning you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the other morning, I came in, somebody was in a hurry, I guess, somebody was better than everybody else because they wanted to drop their kid off right in the row, I mean, these are adults. So they're trying to teach their children to do the right thing. Open and let my kid out because, it doesn't matter all the other cars here. Junior gets out of the car. The guy behind me passes 2 cars over on the corner where the special needs bus parks. So let alone there's a special needs bus there. A man in an excursion went around my car, that car. I thought he was trying to get up towards the penny door. No, he wasn't. He drove in the oncoming lane with car, almost hit the kid that was getting dropped off, and then now I got up to his car, and I was kind of hoping for an altercation to make this a little further. And he refused to get out. I reminded him he was in a school parking lot. There's a lot of people that come up to, number one, the white thing don't have to be there. And this whole section could be changed around. There's Bradford pear trees that are growing in this middle here. I know there's a lot of architectural things that might have to stay, but a lot of these are trees. Number one, there's a whole row of Bradford pear trees. They're weed trees. I could give you 5 of them out of my garden that'll be 10 feet tall in 2 years. So those could all come down. People are stopping at the white line, so you got cars backed up on the Route 30 a lot of times, messing that traffic up. It's such a joke. I mean, it really is. So I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt, or I'm going to go to OSHA, and I don't want to bring OSHA on you, or I'm going to come to you guys first to address all my issues. I could lay this whole thing out. I don't have an engineering degree. I wasn't a layout man for blueprints. I know how to read a blueprint. But these cars are pulling in the morning, and then they'll drop their kid off the first car, but the car behind won't open the door and let their kids out. I make my kids get out, like when I get up by the sheriff's car. get out. And, you know, I get the, I'm not driving you front door service. But a lot of people think it's front door service here. I mean, they will actually drive up again when there's cars. Oh, I don't get it. I mean, I really don't get it. So that safety walkway should be tore up and moved to the opposite end where the stop sign is. Everybody then can cross in front of the stop sign, and if they're going to come into the penny door, they can come in there fine. Or they can go into that door that's right by there. So that eliminates anybody, because most of these people aren't paying attention. I can't tell you how many times I've seen kids that are walking from over there that have almost gotten hit just from the people that are, you know, dropping their kids off and everything else. So that's something I hope that gets issued or addressed. If you're not going to, I mean, that whole thing can get redesigned. I don't know why. There's no reason to have that thing there for any handicap reason. There's no reason to have that walkway. If you look over at the school, I believe it's Nelson Ridge Grammar School. They have a nice system where you drive around. It's pretty. I mean, whoever laid that out had some thought. This can get done here. I really think somebody's going to get hurt. So I'd also like to see an only lane put in, you know, if you can. I mean, the village lanes are on the state. I mean, I don't want to hear that stuff. I just want it done. You know, you guys can play your politics all you want. Just do it so nobody gets hurt. The other thing is, I see all these politicians sign up on Gatto's building. I don't know. I don't know why a sidewalk was put right next to the road. So if you get there on their first snowstorm, number one, they can't use that walkway ever. That layout was so terrible, it's ridiculous. I mean, so they offset, and you can put utilities. They didn't have to. I know how you can run utilities. It wasn't hard. So I don't know who was in charge of the layout here, or whether the board had anything to do with the planning of the safety of students coming from the school there. But that is wrong because they can't use it. Then they got to trounce through the thing. If they would have just kept that walkway going straight, plus it would have shortened the angle for kids to walk. The angles are too wide, and I know you got to pretty much stop in front of a stoplight, but they could have had every trip. So the angles are taking a long time for kids to come across. That could have been configured a little different. It definitely needs to be lit up, and I'm hoping the school, I mean, I know that comes down to money and everything, and people don't want to see their taxes going up, but I don't want to see anybody getting killed either. So I don't know why there's not lights right in front of the school on Route 30. And Friday night, when we got a homecoming game, or a game this weekend here, right? So if you walk out there and see how dark it is, you'll see what I'm saying. I'm sure, I mean, just walk out there and then see the people that are walking from Gatto's over and trying to run across 4 lanes of traffic. So with that, it'd be the lights, the only lane up by Wolf Road. And right now, the way it is, like I say, people are pulling up, and you got people. If somebody taps somebody's rear of their car, they're going to send them right into the oncoming kids crossing. And then my other point being is, I know we got a new school board here since I've been in, and I don't know who is responsible, but I'd like to maybe get a response of, at the time when the land was available where the car wash is, why wasn't that purchased? Especially when we knew that we were going to be closing a school down at that time. When that land was available, that was all in there. And then that the parking would have went up immensely here because everybody would have been coming here. You had a nice piece of property sitting right here, where, and there is a parking problem here. I know there is, because I observed it. There needs more parking. You had parking right there, right where there's a car wash now. That should have been laid out into a parking lot. You could have had it where people would have exited out onto a street with openings. There wouldn't have been any problem. So I think somebody really dropped the ball when it came to not purchasing that land, and it would have been purchasing land for a parking lot. If you fell short on money, you could have turned around and sold it when the market got better. And it could have went from a parking lot, but now I think it's water under the bridge. So to me, I think rather than you already dropped the ball one time, or I'm not, sorry to say it like that, but I believe the ball was dropped when it came to this land not being purchased for the school to put a parking lot in there, which would alleviated all these problems. Let's see. I think that's pretty much in for my tirade.
All right, Jim, thank you.
All right.
Those were great points.
That's what how will I get back? How am I gonna find out who's
Couple
gonna?
things, Jim. So tonight, part of the process of our capital improvement plan is to look at, included in this is the parking lot in front of the building. There have been different discussions, so that's something that will be surveyed and discussed here over the next several months to be constructed during the summer. In terms of the lights in front of the building, stoplights, those sort of things.
I'm not talking stop
No,
lights,
I'm
not
not
sure. I'm
Lights
talking
along the
street lights.
sidewalk, street lights, that's something we can make phone calls as well.
So to answer your question, I will get back with you.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you send me an email or we'll connect with each other.
I mean, I'm here in months, but I really think that walkway should
Well,
get moved.
no.
The walkway we can talk about, but in terms of trees and parking lots and movement.
I do see an easy fix by just moving that down to the end, which would stop everybody from, then the stop sign don't need to be there anymore.
And that'll be evaluated, and the same thing with the lights. We'll get in touch with you. We know who you've talked to. We know some other people to talk to, and your points were well taken.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board? If not, we'll move on to next on the agenda, which is curriculum and instructions update.
Good evening. So for tonight's curriculum and instruction update, I thought I would share some progress that we are making on board goal number 2, which is to enhance curriculum with innovation instruction, assessment, and the infusion of social emotional learning standards. In particular, tonight I'm going to address how we have begun to infuse the social emotional learning standards and ideas into each of our asset presentations at each of our schools for all of our students. So since the beginning of our asset program, we have always followed the Search Institute's 40 developmental assets, which the idea is that the more assets a student possesses, the more chance they have at success at school and in life, and the less risk they have of risky behavior. These 40 assets, which are present in your board documents, include characteristics such as persistence, grit, motivation, things like this. So what we do is we take all of those 40 assets, we chunk them into 8 overarching categories, and then we spread them out over the school year to be presented by our asset coordinators. And so what we did differently this year, however, is that we took each of the assets that we coordinated each month. Those, for example, September is commitment, motivation, and goal setting, and we aligned it to one of the social emotional standards to address both. So for example, along with commitment, motivation, and goal setting is the social emotional standard of demonstrating skills related to achieving personal and academic goals. So what we did is, again, this document is part of your packet. We took each of the assets throughout the school year and then aligned them to the social emotional standards that correspond to them, addressing each of these as well. So what it looks like in each building is pretty unique, however, because each of the asset coordinators kind of take a different approach to it. So for example, at Lincon-Way East, the September asset included a mindfulness, which invited students to come out of their advisory one day and learn physical techniques to reduce stress and improve their social emotional learning. We had over 450 students voluntarily come out of their advisory to practice these stress-reducing techniques and learn them. And we continue those to support this program every Wednesday morning if students choose to come as well. Also at Over at East, they began a program called We Dine Together. It's a way that makes sure that no students are eating in the cafeteria alone. Over at Lincon-Way West, as you heard from the student council president, they started a program with Start With Hello with a similar social emotional address. And they had each of the Warrior Way leaders write an individual note to every incoming freshman to welcome them to being a warrior. Over at here at Lincon-Way Central, they began with a program called Say Something in conjunction with the asset and in conjunction with the Suicide Prevention Month. And they encourage students to, if they see a warning signal, if they hear something, if they see something, to say something to a trusted adult to make sure that someone was aware of this. So that is one of the ways that all of our assets, that's how we began the year with our assets kind of blending in with social emotional learning, and we'll plan to continue that during the school year. On a quick side note, I also wanted just to mention, because our next board meeting, this will have already taken place, we'd like to invite each and every one of you to attend our first annual career fair. It is going to be at Lincon-Way Central in the North Gym on November 1st. We already have at least 20 organizations coming with hands-on exhibits for students across the district to come and attend to explore the different careers in the trades and other organizations as well. So, any questions?
Is it 8:30?
It's going to go from 8:30 till 2:30 in the afternoon, so it's going to run during the day. And we are busing students from both East and West over to Central to participate in this career fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next agenda item is our fiscal year 2017-2018 audit report.
Mr. Meyer, Dave Meyer and Katie Napier are with us this evening.